Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be optimizing Call of Duty Warzone and Black Ops 6 to get higher frame rates, better enemy visibility, and to reduce input lag. Now Call of Duty's default settings are pretty suboptimal at this point, so this video is going to get you up to speed just in time for Season 4. Okay, so a quick disclaimer before we get to actually tinkering with the game files. I just want to say that I can't guarantee you'll get the same performance gains as me. You can see the benchmark on screen. But I would still highly encourage you to follow this guide, as the settings and tweaks we go over will definitely make some serious improvements to your performance and visibility overall. I promise you're going to get something good out of this video, whether it's config file tweaks, VibranceGUI, not just for COD, but for every game. And I'll even show you how to enable DLSS 4 for Call of Duty, which will again translate to other games. So for image quality and performance, you're not going to want to miss this guide. Okay, first things first, I want you guys to download my config files. These are files that tweak in-game and other hidden settings that we'll be optimizing later for more performance. Then download VibranceGUI. This little program is pretty handy for adding digital vibrance to any game or application without performance loss like Nvidia filters had. And finally, download the Nvidia app. We're going to be using this to download the latest driver as well as enabling the latest DLSS transformer model for better image quality and performance. The links to all three will be in the description down below. Okay, so once you have the Nvidia app downloaded, you can go ahead and use that to download the latest driver, which is 576.52. However, if you notice that you're getting less performance on this driver, I would recommend that you manually download the older driver version 572.83 from Nvidia's website. You'll have to use the in-game benchmark tool to compare the performance between these two drivers, and hopefully whichever one works best for you, you can come back and continue this guide. And now if you don't have any performance regressions on the latest driver, then we can continue with this guide onto the Windows tweaks. All right, for the Windows tweaks, come to your Windows search bar, type in game mode. Okay, you're going to want to turn this on. This is going to optimize your Windows for gameplay, and you're going to turn off some of the telemetry in the background, or that's what I've heard. Then click graphics. Okay, so there's going to be a list of applications and games here. If it's empty for you, it's fine. You can actually add a desktop app by yourself, so you can browse, go to your games, go to Call of Duty, retail, find the exe for any of the games you want to add, click add. Okay, so now there's two of them here, whatever. Click options, and you can choose high performance. If you have dual graphics or integrated graphics, this is what you want to choose for your dedicated GPU, and click save. You can do this for all your games and applications. Then come here to change default graphics settings. Okay, and I want you to turn on hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. This is going to help reduce latency and improve performance, right? It'll also help if you have a 40 series or 50 series GPU and you want to use frame generation. You're going to actually have to have this enabled by default. Then enable variable refresh rate if you're using a VRR monitor, adaptive sync monitor. This is not really helpful for modern games, but if you use emulation or play older games, it's going to give you VRR support, I guess, and optimization for windowed games. So if you play at borderless full screen, this is good because it uses a flip model to make sure that you get reduction to latency. So the difference between full screen exclusive and borderless Windows is very minimal now, or negligible with this setting on. And if you're on Windows 11, all right, and go ahead and exit out of that. Then open up NVIDIA control panel. Now, in the interest of time, I'm just going to have you copy all of these settings. There is no way I can explain every single thing here, and it's not that big of a deal anyway. Now here for monitor technology, this is going to be preference, right? I prefer using G-Sync because I want a tear-free experience. If you have a VRR compatible or, adaptive sync monitors, you could have G-Sync. Personally, I need this because I hate screen tearing, and this just makes everything look smoother. And no, it's not going to cause that much input lag, okay? You're going to use NVIDIA Reflex. It's very good. So I would recommend this, but your preference, you could turn it off. Auto select, power management mode, I keep normal. If you keep this on maximum performance in a global profile, it's going to keep your GPU maxed out in terms of use all the time. Not a good idea. All right, so keep it on normal. Preferred refresh rate, highest available. Shader cache, set this to, it might be like one of these, driver default or one of these, but just keep it to unlimited. This could actually help in a lot of Unreal Engine games, potentially. On, allow, texture filtering quality to high performance. On, auto, off, vertical sync. If you have G-Sync enabled, you need to keep this on for it to work. Otherwise, if you're not using G-Sync, turn this off. All right, one, off, and auto. And that's all you have to do in the NVIDIA control panel. but just in case, you want to make sure you're actually using your full refresh rate. Okay, you're going to want to use Nvidia colors, full bit depth, whatever. And same with video color settings, a little bit of an extra stuff, but just might as well do it while we're here. Make sure you're on Nvidia settings for color settings and you put full. It'll be unlimited by default, but make sure you put full. And that's pretty much it for the Nvidia settings. All right, now for the config files, open up the folder you downloaded from Google Drive. Okay, and you're going to have 3 files in here. You're going to open up text0 first. And in here, everything has already been tweaked. A lot of these are the in-game settings that you can tweak in the menus, and there are actually some hidden settings in here that you can't tweak in the game itself. That's why we're going to do this part. Press Control F and type in worker count and click enter. It'll bring you to this renderer worker count. Now, in here, this number is pretty important for the CPU. Yours might be correct or it might not be correct, but we're going to make sure that it's the correct number. I have a 9800X 3D, which has 8 physical cores. So the rule of thumb for this game for like the last 5 years has been to just put your physical cores -1, okay? Except for if you have a quad core processor. If you have a quad core processor, you need to put 4 + 1, so 5, no matter what. So if you have a quad core like a 12100F or any of those lower end CPUs that are quad core, put 5. For everybody else, put 7 if you have 8 cores, right? Put 9 if you have 10 physical cores, like a 10900K. And for mostly other popular CPUs, they're all going to be 8 cores. If you have dual CCD CPUs like the 7950X 3D, 9950X 3D, you're also going to put 7 in here because though you might have 16 cores on the box, which you do, but they're split between 2 CCDs. And the game only uses 1 CCD while playing. So again, put 7. And once you have that set in text 0, go to text 1, press Control F, render worker count. Do the exact same thing here. Now there's 2 of these config files for COD. I don't know exactly why there's 2, but because there's 2, you just want to make sure it's set correctly. Everything else in here is already set correctly, but you just want to put your CPU renderer worker core count correctly so the game doesn't fuck up anything. And that's going to be it for the config file. So once we're done with this, all right, you go ahead and save that. Copy this, go to Documents, go to Call of Duty, go to Players. You're already going to have these files in here from when you were playing. So all you're going to do is just paste it in here and replace these 3 files. All right, so now my settings are going to be in your COD next time you launch. Okay, so now before we tinker with any of the settings in game, I want you to open Task Manager as soon as you've launched the game. This is going to be the last tweak, by the way. Go to Details, okay, find COD EXE, right click, set priority to high, change priority, right click COD EXE again, set affinity and turn off Core 0 and click OK. The reason why we do this is because Core 0 is also shared with Windows and it could sometimes cause performance issues where the CPU is not getting enough resources on the core. I'm sure there's a bunch of other technical reasons, but again, just to keep it short and sweet, you do these 2 things and you get better CPU for performance, at least for COD. And Elden Ring as well, funny enough. And yeah, that's pretty much last week. And now we're going to go ahead to the in-game settings and we're going to tweak that stuff. All right, so once you're in the game, go ahead and click the gear icon, graphics. So in display, you're going to want to put whatever your display mode is going to be. For me, it's going to be full screen borderless. You could put full screen exclusive, it's preference. Choose your display monitor, your graphics card, and then come over here to gamma and brightness. Okay. Now I keep 65 because I use an OLED monitor and I want to raise the black levels a bit. For you, it could be 55, 60. Just experiment with whatever is best for your panel type. And we'll pair this with VibranceGUI later for the best visibility overall. I'll show you a before and after. All right. And then for NVIDIA, low latency, just keep it on and boost. Honestly, I've kept it on plus boost for forever. And you could read the description here. This is just good for minimizing latency. Very good. In fact, especially at lower frame rates where your input lag is like spiking all over the place. This will help stabilize that. Then for all of this stuff. All right, so for custom frame rate, right? I would suggest you keep something that is as close to your averages as you can. So if you're getting like maybe 120 FPS, just keep 120 FPS. It'll be better for frame pacing. It'll be better for input lag, that your frames are not going up and down, up and down. There's a whole technical reason as to why you should keep your frame rates a little lower than your GPU can like pump out realistically. You want your GPU and CPU to be synced, and with Reflex On plus Boost, it actually does that. So whatever you put here, this might actually lower your FPS slightly based on whatever works best to lower input lag. But for this, generally you want to lock it to, again, whatever is the closest to your averages that you get. And the highest is 300. So if you're getting over 300, you could use the Nvidia app, Nvidia control panel, or RTSS to lock your FPS if you want, like, 350, 360 or more. If you're a Giga Chat and you're getting that much somehow. And yeah, everything else is just usual stuff. In quality, there's not much to change here. Make sure your render resolution is set to 100. Do not put anything lower than 100 in here. It's going to make your game look really chunky and pixelated. It's not going to be good. If you really do have to lower resolution, use an upscaler, right? If you don't have an Nvidia card, use FSR3. Okay. Depending on your resolution, you're going to want to try all of these out to see what the best image quality is for you. Performance to image quality, actually. And we're actually going to be using DLSS later in this video. I'm going to show you the new transformer model. The difference between the new transformer model and native quality is so good. You're going to, yeah, I'm just not going to spoil it. You're going to see. Performance is 720p at 1440p out res. So I'm going to be using performance for the demonstration. And even when I play, I might as well just use performance because the image quality between 1440p and DLSS transformer performance is so neck and neck, if not better for the DLSS at times for image stability. That's my preferred choice. Of course, you could choose balance or quality as well. If you're playing at 4K, I would recommend performance or balance. Performance for obviously the most FPS. And yeah, you could put the sharpness. That's your preference. These two, keep it off. Frame generation is just going to add input lag. Unless you're playing in really casual lobbies or you just want to play zombies or single player, I would not suggest ever using these. You're just going to, again, they're going to add input lag. It's not that much, honestly. If you're already playing at really high frame rates, probably at best it adds like 10 milliseconds of input lag, but any input lag for an online game is bad, so keep it off. VRAM skill target, default is 70, works for everyone. If you don't have enough VRAM or you're struggling to, the game's struggling to actually fill out the VRAM, you could just put a limit on how much, or if it's filling up too much, put a limit is what I meant. Everything else, all of this stuff was tweaked in the config file. So if you do want to change, like, the texture resolution and anisotropic filtering and some of this stuff, go ahead and change it. But this is a performance video, max FPS video. So everything is at its lowest settings for, of course, maximum performance. In view, again, this is all like preference stuff. Field of view, ADS field of view affected is better than independent. Weapon field of view wide. Okay. Third person field of view 90. Vehicle field of view wide. Motion blur off, camera movement low, inverted flashbang on, so I don't actually get flashbang by the OLED. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the graphics settings. We're going to actually go to the interface and readability next. Click on color customization. This is for visibility. Now, everyone sees differently, so you can actually go ahead and customize the colors for all of this stuff individually. I see yellow better for enemies, so I keep yellow enemies. And for color filter settings, these are like the tried and true stuff for like the last few games. Color filter, you just want to put 2. Color filter target, put both. All right. World intensity, just put 100 for both of these and you're set. Anything else to do with visibility and color is going to be in VibranceGUI that I will show afterwards. And that's pretty much it for the in-game settings. All right. And that's going to do it for all the tweaking today. As you can see, this is a before and after the tweaks that we did previously in Windows and the config file. The left side is going to have only in-game settings set to lowest settings, while the right side is going to have the config file with the renderer worker core count set to 7 for my CPU. Left side is going to have core 0 and CPU priority unchanged from default. Right side is going to have core 0 disabled and CPU priority on high. And again, left side is not going to have any of the Windows or NVIDIA control panel tweaks. Right side is going to have all of those Windows and NVIDIA control panel tweaks. So you could see that I got a pretty sizable uplift in performance. Again, I got to clarify, you are probably not going to see as much, or maybe you'll see more. I don't know. We're all different. We all have different parts, different windows, different RAM, CPU, GPU tune. It's going to depend, but this should definitely help you get more FPS in general. And now we're going to move on to the visibility part of the video with VibranceGUI. All right, now we're going to set up VibranceGUI. So go ahead and click on the exe you downloaded earlier. It's going to be this little window right here. Make sure you have auto start VibranceGUI checked, affect primary monitor checked, and never change resolutions checked. Windows vibrance level. So this is for your Windows and not per game basis. I'll show you that in a bit. So if you change this, your entire Windows color is going to change. I suggest you keep it at 50%. That's the default. Now for the games, if you click just add, you can add any of the running programs in the background that you may have. If you have games running, you could just select the exe here. Otherwise, if you want to add manually, you could do that yourself by going into a drive of your choice for whatever game you want to add. Call of Duty, right? Retail, find COD.exe and click open. All right, then it'll show up here and you can double click it to open. I've set my COD in-game color vibrance to 80%. This is because I prefer my games to look a bit more colorful. I'll show you a before and after so you can see for yourself how good it is actually. And then you click save. You could add whatever else you want, whatever other games you want, and add vibrancy to it as well. And you could just minimize it. It'll stay in the tray. And I suggest, because there's no install for this, it's just an exe, you put this somewhere in your game drive and then create like a start pin. So you could just click it if you exit out accidentally. And that's pretty much it for VibranceGUI. Now I'm going to show you a before and after with default game settings and digital vibrance. All right, and here we are in Warzone with VibranceGUI. As you can see on the left side, I'm using in-game 50 brightness and VibranceGUI off. And on the right side, I'm using in-game brightness at 65 with VibranceGUI at 80%. If you go ahead and pause right here, you can see a huge difference between the side-by-sides. I much prefer the right side because with the gamma brightness lift of 65, you could see the shadows are just kind of gone. And the VibranceGUI fills in the colors where the shadows used to be, so the contrast is there. If you go ahead and go outside, you can see how much better the world looks, just more vibrant, better contrast. Oh, there's a guy over there. Yeah, fuck that guy. All right, so see how everything just looks more vivid, and it could be so nice, but the developers don't want to do this for some reason, so we have to do it. Anyway, this is how I prefer to play the game. It helps me spot enemies easier. I hope it helps you guys as well in whatever games you want to use this for. And yeah, it's just like, as you'll see inside again, it's just so much better, dude. Like all of the dark areas just get brightened up. The contrast is better. Especially on an OLED, this thing looks nutty. So yeah, I hope you guys get some use out of this. And now we're going to be moving on to DLSS 4 transformer model for Call of Duty. So now we're going to enable DLSS 4 transformer model for Call of Duty in the Nvidia app. So open it up. All right, go to graphics. Now, if you don't see a list of games here already, you're going to come to settings. Okay, go to games and apps. You could scan now if you haven't scanned already, or you can automatically view and modify, well, not automatically, but you could view and modify your scan locations, and you can add any specific drives that didn't show up here by default. And might be where your game is installed, but it should have all of the main drives here. If not, just add it yourself. Okay, then once that's added, go here, click refresh. It should add every single game that's compatible with the Nvidia app onto this list. All right, and then find Black Ops 6. Okay, ignore all of this stuff. Don't ever click optimize. We already did that. Go down here to DLSS override model presets. Okay, click this, use different settings for each DLSS technology. We can only use one right now. We have frame generation in the game, but the DLL swap isn't working. So either way, it doesn't concern us. Super resolution, latest. So this is going to apply preset K. So if you scroll all the way down, that is the latest. But if you don't want to scroll, they put a latest button, which is nice. Click apply. That's pretty much it, dude. Like now Call of Duty has DLSS 4, the latest preset. And you could do this with pretty much any game you want. That is compatible, by the way. So sometimes the app doesn't have compatibility. You might have to use NVIDIA Inspector to do it. That's a whole other video that I'm planning to make someday. But if your game shows up here and if there is compatibility, you can actually add the latest presets for frame generation, super resolution, ray reconstruction. You could tweak a bunch of this stuff in here. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Black Ops 6. Now I'm going to show you the before and after in-game and explain the differences of what you're seeing in case it doesn't become clear. All right, here we are in Black Ops 6. Left side is DLSS Performance, preset K, the one we just set in the NVIDIA app. And the right side is native 1440p with Fidelity FX cast sharpening, the one we've been using for 3 years for the best image quality. Now, the crazy thing is, the left side actually looks better to me because there's way less image breakup. Look at the barbed wire fence in the back. It's way more resolved in the 720p. You could see the lines very clearly, whereas the 1440p, it's having a hard time reconstructing the details of the background. The ground is also shimmering way less on the 720p side. And I'm just surprised that 720p is able to upscale to this much fidelity. I mean, I've played a few games with this, and I cannot tell a single difference with DLSS performance and native 1440p, except for the fact that the GPU is being used way less, of course, for resources, and you're getting more frame rates. So I would highly suggest you guys use DLSS performance. It's just a net positive for image quality and visibility and performance. It's just a no-brainer at this point. And with that, we've come to the end of the video. Hopefully this guide was helpful to you guys, and just in time for Season 4 as well. So hopefully you guys all get good performance boosts, visibility boosts, and overall stability in the game. I'm going to be making more guides for Call of Duty, Marvel Rivals, and potentially other games in the future. So if you feel like it, subscribe, like the video, ding my dong, all the good stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.